Molly, isn't there? Ooh. It's a little bit crunchy underfoot this morning. It's going home day. I've looked at the sort of the weather, how it is across the country. It's not looking too bad. I think we should be okay on the roads. I've put in my sat-nav to avoid the motorways, which I know it's one of them, it could be a bit silly to avoid them because they're going to be clearer, but I'm just thinking if anything does, touch wood, it won't go wrong with Nettie on the journey back. At least if we're just on A roads, there's more places to pull over. And also because I do want to stop en route, I've looked, it's going to take, it's actually about 40 minutes longer to avoid the motorways, so I don't mind 40 minutes. It's going to take just under 4 hours to get back. So by going the A roads, I can also stop part way, get some lunch and have a warm drink, because no doubt I'm gonna have to thaw out part way. When I was getting my clothes out this morning, I've literally just put layer upon layer just to try to keep warm. However, I have got a little thing that was delivered to Evie Rose's boyfriend's house off Amazon, so I will show you that when I'm all set up ready to go, and I'm hoping it might just take the chill off a little bit. Oh gosh, that's the dream anyway, but if not, I've got plenty of clothes in the back, so I may even have to just put my coat on. Oh, look at this. Lovely. Right, I'm going to go and grab a quick shower now and then get Molly walked, do my dishes, disconnect my electric and everything, and then set off. So I'll see you all in a bit. Come on, Molly. Okay, so I'm back home. I did make it back. It's a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare of a journey. I just never ever want to go through that again in my life, honestly. Now, there is some footage, but I can't find it. I did sort of like film quite a bit coming back on my other camera, and somewhere in cyberspace I've lost it. Now, I don't know if when I come to editing this video I might actually find it, but if just in case I don't, I'm going to do a recap, and if I do find it, then this bit will be just null and void. I won't bother putting this on. But the story is, left the site, started her up. She started up absolutely fine. As you can hear, she is ticking. In fact, I can turn her off because, oh, she's actually got to 90 degrees. So she, you know, she'll do it when I'm just parked up. I'm going to turn her off anyway now. Right, a little bit quieter. So yeah, started her up absolutely fine, no problems whatsoever. And then had to obviously drive off the site. You have to put your ticket, once you've gone through the gate, the barriers, put your card back into the little box. So pulls up and she cuts out. So I was like, okay, start her up, give her a bit of choke, started up first time. And this went on for a couple of miles of my journey. I was going into Brid to go and pick some stuff up from Evie Rose and Riley. So I was calling at his house, and then I said I'll get some fuel after I've sort of like been at theirs. So yeah, about 2 miles, she was just, every time I pulled up, she was cutting out, starting up, spluttery, just awful. But I thought maybe give her some fuel, she might be all right. So yeah, got to the petrol station, filled her up, set off, and she was all right. Now then, so far into the journey, she started again, just spluttery. She wasn't happy. She was backfiring it every now and again, not a lot, but now and again. So I was thinking, yeah, definitely something is not right here. But bless her, she kept going, probably because I'm like going, you are not quitting on me, you are not, I've fallen in love with you now, you will get me home. So if you've watched my video of my journey over to the East Coast, there was a little bit where there was a diversion. Part of the 59 was closed off, so we followed the diversion routes. Now going back, there wasn't any diversion routes, so any signs that I could see. Now I thought, oh okay, it must have opened up now. So I carried on the 59, and then got to a certain point. It was the east coast side of Skipton, so anybody who's familiar with that road will know about the road closure there. So yeah, gets to this point, and the diversion signs were sending me off to the left onto this smaller road. So I thought, oh, okay, looked up, and they had cleared the snow, because whilst there wasn't a great deal on the east coast, central Yorkshire was absolutely still covered. It was so deep. So I thought, okay, it looks like it's been cleared. So, you know, other cars were going up that way. So I thought, okay, I'll go that way. Honestly, at one point, if I can find the footage, I don't say you'll see, because you won't be listening to this, will you? But anyway, you know what I mean, right? Let's pretend I can't find the footage. At one point, I was just ready to just start crying because I was so stressed, and it's not me. Normally, I'm like really confident in what I'm doing, in my driving abilities, and you know, even though I knew she wasn't running great, if I'd just been on a normal road, I'd have been absolutely fine, because I thought, okay, if I keep stopping and starting, not a problem. This road, honestly, it was going across from where the diversion was, the other side of Skipton, and taking me across to Otley. And I think normally it would be a two-track road, but the snowplow had only cleared more or less a single track, a little bit more than a single. So any cars coming the other way was a nightmare. Luckily, there weren't that many. But the views, oh my God, it was absolutely stunning. It was my heaven, the views. But because I was that anxious and that sort of like stressed, I wouldn't even stop to take photographs, because I thought, I just want to get off this road. So far into it, I seen a police car coming the other way. So they flashed me, and I was like, oh God, what have I done? What have I done wrong? Then I'm thinking, oh, am I on a road where I'm too big or I'm too heavy? And I'm thinking, no, I can't be. She's not that big. It's not like I'm in some bloody like 10-ton wagon. Although she did feel like a 10-ton wagon, I must admit. So yeah, they flashed me, but obviously I can't wind my window down, because I thought the window was playing up even more. And I thought, if I wind that down, I can't get it back up. I've got to drive the rest of the way home with no window up, and it was cold enough as it was. So they flashed, so I had to open the door and kind of hang out. And anyway, they got out, and he's like, are you okay? So I thought, oh my God, it must be written all over my face. I'm having a panic attack. Oh, not a panic attack, but you know, that I wasn't so happy. So I was kind of like, yeah, and I could feel my lip going. I'm like, yeah, I think so. And he was like, your sat-nav brought you across this way. And I was like, yeah. And he went, he says, yeah, we're getting a lot of people, but they're sort of like a little bit concerned continuing, because of sort of like, you know, how the road is and stuff. And he's like, hey, will you be okay? And I was like, I think so. I said, but how much further is it? I said, because I don't know how much fuel I've got, because I didn't know if I'd got enough fuel to sort of like get me the rest of the way across, and because I'd only topped up a little bit when I was in Brid. And obviously because I don't know her tank very well, and then she'd started spluttering, and I'm thinking, is she running out of fuel? So he said, you've got about another 4 miles, and obviously once you get to the other side, there is a petrol station just outside the village. So I was like, right, thank you. And I was like, I was just getting a little bit concerned. I said, and there's nowhere to do a 3-point turn. And, you know, and he's like, honestly, you'll be fine. He's like, if you're over the worst of it, if you've got this far. So I was like, all right, thank you for stopping anyway. And then he went, oh, by the way, he said, what a cracking van you've got. I was like, oh, thank you. I said, I just hope it gets me home. So yeah, it was literally then, he was probably spot on about another 4 miles, because I was just clocking it as I was driving. Luckily, not that many came the opposite way. And oh, once I got back onto the main road, I've never been so relieved. And then, yeah, found the petrol station. Now put another £20 in, and she drove like she'd had a new engine fitted. Honestly, she just drove perfect. So I was like, this is just, it's bizarre. And the same thing then when I got sort of probably about 10 miles from home, she started doing the same thing, a little bit spluttery, a little bit losing power every now and again. But I thought, you know what, I'm nearly home now, so I'm not going to worry too much. And I literally just pulled up outside the house, got her on the roadway, just like closed it all up. I went, I'm done, I just need to get in the house. I just walked in, and Millie, my youngest daughter, was on the sofa, and she's like, oh, you're back? And I went, I just need a hug. I have honestly never been so glad to get back in my house. So yeah, that was my journey home. But the thing what kind of saved the day a little bit was when I said I had something delivered, I got one of these. So it's a little heater, just plugs into the cigarette lighter. And whilst it's only like, I'm not even going to pretend to know what wattage it is, because I forget now, but it's not very powerful. It literally, I think if you'd had a cup of tea, you could probably blow more hot air. But it helped. So I had that plugged in, and I just had it on the passenger seat, so it was kind of blowing a little bit on me. And yeah, it really did make a difference. So yeah, like I say, that was my journey home, and my plan now is I am going to do a little bit of Googling to try and see if I can work out myself what the problem might be, because my mind is thinking, and I've said I'm not mechanically minded, but it's got to be something quite simple. It's got to be a little bit of a blockage now and again, because if it was a constant, she had no power, I think that's going to be a biggie. But I'm wondering, have I sucked just a little bit of debris? I'll say the polite word. Have I sucked a little bit of debris up, and that's what sort of causing her to splutter now and again. And obviously then when the fuel is getting low in her tank, am I maybe, I don't know, sucking a little bit more up? So that's what I'm going to guess at. I'm going to obviously Google it and ask a few people who are in the know. Obviously, if any of you guys, because you've all been brilliant so far, giving me all these little bit of snippets of, you know, and little tips of what it might be, what our problem might be. So anyone, if you've got any ideas, if you can just, you know, put a message in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. Or even pop over onto Instagram if you want to message me on there. Because, yeah, I think you guys, you're helping me loads with it. And although I was really stressed on the drive, I've got to say, she didn't let me down. She carried on for me. I was like, and do you know what? I'm proud of her for doing that. I know it's daft. She's just a big lump of metal, but I think, you know, if she was gonna be a you're going, that's it, she'd have just just conked out on me, wouldn't she? And I'd have had to call the RAC again. Luckily, it wouldn't have been the same problem, because I wouldn't have been calling them
out for the thermostat, so at least I wouldn't have got charged if it's a different problem. But like, oh god, it's there again. Anyway, yeah, so I'm now gonna empty all my stuff out and get her onto the driveway at some point so that we can sort of have a look under the bonnet and hopefully get a couple of friends who know about engines to sort of have a look with me just before I go to the expense. Oh, I've got a cobweb there. I had a little visitor. Just before I go to the expense of like getting her in the into the garage, because if it's something that can be fixed by someone who's got basic engine knowledge, then I might as well save a few pennies, mightn't I? Because then that's open this a bit. Because then that's I won't open that actually. It just looks a bit of a mess in the back. Everything, yeah, everything was just flying about. At one point, a bag came off the bed, ended up that way somewhere. But yeah, if I can save a few pennies by, do you know, I might even have a go at trying to do it myself, obviously with somebody supervising me. But like I said, I need to learn. If I'm going to keep her, I need to learn about engines a little bit. So watch your space, guys. You might see me with my overalls on and grease on my hands and some tools in my hands. Well, anyway, right, I'm going to end this video now. Hopefully, you might find the footage. If I don't, it's probably just going to be me waffling, my next video that I put out. So anyway, thank you for coming on my journey with me, guys. I hope you're all going to continue and come on my next one, because there is going to be a next one, and hopefully it will be not quite as eventful driving wise, shall we say. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.